My guest tonight is a leading computer graphics designer and the founder of the female design movement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bolanle Banwo. Please, a round of applause for her. Yeah, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir.
You studied mass communication. So when and how did this relationship with computer graphics design, how did it start?
I would say that everything started when I picked up a pencil and paper.
Okay.
Everything I would think about illustrating, drawing characters, making people laugh. That was everything that brought me joy.
What was your favorite character to draw at the time?
Everything, Tom and Jerry, Tom.
Okay, cool.
Just because I started drawing at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
And that was what really brought me joy. I knew that, okay, I needed to do this.
Okay.
So even though I studied mass comm, I would draw for my school newspaper. I would draw their cartoons. I would draw for my school fellowship. Nice. And it brought me, I was just doing everything
just playing with your
I was just doing
pencil
everything.
on top of paper.
Exactly.
Then at some point, you said, well, let's go computer.
Yes, I was like, I'm taking this to the next level. I want to start illustrating on computer. I want to start illustrating using computer software and learning to use them as well. So I started learning, and then I started illustrating via the computer.
So you had to go back to school, or you self-trained yourself to use all these computer software?
No, I'm self-taught.
Self-taught?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Good. Okay. Now, here you are, an accomplished computer graphics designer, doing all these wonderful things on computer. At some point, you decided, I'm going to start something, the female designer movement. That's what you call it. What is this female designer movement about?
Over the years, I realized that we have, you'd walk into any organization, maybe a tech industry, and then you find more men designing, more men building building things and doing things. And I told myself I wanted to see more women design. I wanted to see more women take up design positions and do things. And so that was what brought about the female designer movement. That's
good.
I tell people that women are born with this natural instinct to design. You pick up your...
I agree with that.
Yeah, you'd see, you pick up your chair, you want to place it in a particular place, you want to make it look perfect.
Not even that, you stand in the mirror and you begin to design your face.
Exactly.
That is what you are. So you don't even go too far.
And then the amazing part, we're able to combine our colors well, naturally.
Yeah.
You just know how to do it.
No, I think the average woman is a good artist. Seeing what you guys do in front of the mirror, I'm just saying.
The eye pencil.
The eye pencil, and somebody just sits there in front of the mirror, and before you know it, they are transformed totally.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you can do it to yourself, why can't you do it on paper or on the computer?
And that was exactly what I was trying to bring out. I wanted to encourage women to design, to see how easy it is. Like, all you're just going to learn is learn how to use the software. Apart from that, your creativity is what matters. Okay,
fantastic. You started this movement. What has the response been so far? Have women, your primary target, have they embraced it? Are they excited about the prospect of being computer graphics designers? Or have they said, you know what, be doing your graphics designing, let us be doing our makeup? What has been the response so far?
When so what I did first was to put out a form.
Yeah.
My plan was to train about maybe 10 to 15 women.
Okay.
And then the next thing, my mailbox was full.
Wow.
We had over 250 women register. Like, they were asking questions.
So the response has been good?
Very, very good. They're asking questions. They really wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
Especially considering the level of unemployment these days, people are willing to try their hands anywhere.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, you made your mark so quickly in an industry that is male-dominated. How have you tried to assert yourself? Seeing that all these men will not roll over and die, they want to compete. How have you been able to compete?
So I'm going to answer that question with a story.
Okay.
So there was this day I posted, I designed for a client, and then they posted the design online. So sometimes I go around just checking the different social media platforms to see what people are saying about the design. And then people are writing, this guy is a bad guy. I was like, Seriously?
And it's not a guy.
No.
And they are giving guys credit for the job that...
Even because it was actually very unprofessional for me to write anything there, but I felt so bad. Like, women can actually
give a
design.
woman credit, man. It's a woman's job. And you were not tempted to make a comment underneath to say...
I was tempted. I was really tempted.
But you didn't?
I didn't.
It's
not professional.
A lot of us would have said something.
Yes, now, like, why? So, people meet you for the first time. People meet me and they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm a designer. Oh, fashion designer. No, not a fashion designer. I'm a graphic designer. You know, people just automatically assume, and that's just it.
Okay, you're helping small and medium. Okay, you know what? We're going to take a break.
Okay.
All right, let's take a break because this thing, I'm getting excited about it. You're still watching the other news. We are still here to enjoy more time with one another. All right, you're still watching the other news. Back to my conversation with the very interesting Bolanle Banwo. Yes, you've been helping small and medium scale companies create smart impressions and build strong identities. That's what you've been doing. And looking at our country, it appears to me that this country needs strong identity and smart impression. You know, if you were given the contract to rebrand this country, what would you do? I mean, as an illustrator, you know, looking at Nigeria, how much we are not. If I don't know, you are the expert here. I can't even say this is our brand identity. Do you have any idea what Nigeria's brand identity is?
I agree with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, as an illustrator and a designer, what would be your suggestion? What's the way out?
I would start with the people.
Okay.
Because we need to understand that design is actually way beyond just what we can see.
Okay.
Design is actually attitude as well.
Okay.
I'll start with the people changing their perception, changing their orientation. Now, do you know that when a man walks into a room, whatever people perceive of him is his brand identity?
Yeah.
So the way people think, the way they handle things is what we need to change first. Okay. When that is sorted out, then we can now
Is it we the people or these other people who are in charge of us?
I think it goes both ways.
Really. Both ways, right?
Both ways, yeah.
Because we the people, I think we are willing to change, but them the people who are in charge, that is the biggest problem that we have. I think their unwillingness to make adjustments is what is, creating problems for us. Yeah. Now, okay, this is your dream of trying to bring more women into what we are doing. I want to believe, is it women generally or your generation? Because you're a very young woman. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine my mom now trying to do graphics design when she can't even use a computer.
Not a bad idea.
It's when she can't even use a computer. So I want to believe you target your generation. Mm-hmm. Okay, and most of them live in cyberspace these days, social media and all that. You know, how do we use the tools that somebody like you have been able to master? You know, to begin to, galvanize your generation to be more active politically. Because I like to talk politics, especially with young people. You guys tend to shy away from it. And politics is around the corner. So using the tools of your trade, how are we going to convince your generation to be more active?
I would say that everything has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So I may not be able to change the generation coming after me, but if we can impact this generation to do what they're supposed to do, we can actually impact the next, because it's just going to keep going and going and going.
Okay. Well, that was a smart one. What scares you guys from politics anyways? Because, the political side, you didn't really touch it. You just talked about impact. I see your unwillingness to touch politics. Why? What makes you uncomfortable about politics?
I think...
Because I'm trying to use you as an inroad into the mindset of, people your generation. What scares you guys about politics? Politics is life.
Yeah, it is.
What about politics that makes you uncomfortable? You tell me. I'm curious.
So, talking about the same thing over and over again without seeing change.
Yeah, it's boring,
it's
right?
Frustrating.
Yeah.
So, having to discuss this over and over, like, the truth, we all know what we're supposed to do. We all know what the government is meant to do. We all know what is supposed to be done. But then we keep discussing it over and over again, and then we don't really see things happening. And then, so it's just a bit...
So your generation decide, you know what, we keep talking about this thing, nothing gets done, so let's blank.
Not really. We have people who are very active as well.
The government has set aside about 3 billion naira that will benefit the tech industry. All right. And for somebody like you who is in the tech industry, are there plans to tap into this funding and, you know, take your business or your craft to the next level? And if the answer is yes, what are those plans?
So in our last event,
Yeah.
we were able to teach just about 100 to 150 women.
Yeah.
So imagine what we can do with funding. Imagine what we can do when we have enough resources to do so much. So my plan is, once we get the government to support the movement,
Yeah.
we can train more women, go to secondary schools, have girls design, you know, cut them young, and do so much. So it is going to affect... It's going to affect the whole system in a very positive
I agree with you that, you know, it's a very noble project that you've started, you know, bringing more women into the computer graphics design business. And I mean, if you can train 150 people yourself, if given the necessary financial support, you can do more. But knowing how government works, government wouldn't just sit in Abuja and say, oh, there's Bolanle somewhere in Lagos. Let us visit her and give her some of these 3 billion to train more people. You understand?
Yes.
It will require you moving. It will require you doing the paperwork. You know, maybe connecting through the Ministry of Science and Technology or Women Affairs or whichever agency of government that is relevant. You know, are there such plans?
Yeah, and I would like to answer that question. I'd like to even say that TFDM, the female designer movement, is actually far bigger than myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's not just about me anymore. It's about women in general. So I plan to partner with women in the industry, women who have succeeded, women who are doing things. I plan to partner with them, and then we're going to all do this together. You know, work with ministries, go to schools, talk to people. Once they can see that things are happening, they would definitely be a part of it. Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much. To round up the conversation, seeing how passionate you are about women empowerment, technology, and all that. If your state governor, who probably is watching this show today, says, "Come and be my special advisor on women empowerment," would you accept the offer?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. At least she's not shying away from politics. It's been nice talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.